everyone. Welcome to another episode of 2 a.m. in Sweden. I am your host of today's show, Hayes at AO Shifty. Steven's not here this week. He's taking care of other things. So I'm going to be holding it down this week. And there's a ton of things that I do want to end up covering, talking about, and just speaking on. We don't have the banner down there, so I'll just do a rundown of everything that's going to happen today. So I went to the University of Maryland women's basketball game yesterday against Northwestern. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into the whole botting and what's been going on my side of things when it comes to Polymarket and whatnot. We're going to dive into NIL stuff that has been big on the men's college basketball side of the house. We're going to dive into some of the scouting combine that's happening this week. I'll talk to you about some of my thoughts. We'll talk about the highest paid players' career earnings in the NFL and then also the NBA. And then we'll finish some of this up with a little talk of season tickets and then just the what you got that I'll say for the end. So goal is we're only going to make this show like 20 minutes roughly. Don't want to take up too much time from you all. Want to just give you the content straight away and then kind of tell you what we're going to end up doing for weeks to come. So first thing, just getting into it, is the botting. I know a lot of people are like, Hayes, what the hell is going on? What is this whole botting that you keep bringing up? So great question. What I've done is, and I used to do this before, whether it was sneaker botting or having a TG bot that would help me see high trades on certain platforms. And so what I've started to do now is Polymarket. Polymarket or Kalshi, even Gemini has prediction markets, Robinhood has prediction markets. Those have been some of the big topics that a lot of people have brought up in terms of how do you gain an edge on some of these various different markets. I'm still in the beginner phase. I created it. It's not exactly where I want it to be. My goal is to start with sports. And so on the sports side, see some of the bigger players that are trading over there. And I want to see what their trades are and then either copy and paste it for mine or just do paper trades off it to get an understanding of what edges they're finding. Like, what are the sharks doing? And I feel that the easiest way to end up doing that, creating this spot, I can have it in TG in hopes of starting with sports. Then I can get into crypto, maybe do other things that are happening in the world. So doing all three of those, I'll have 3 different TG bots hopefully going on. And then I want to be able to create a dashboard. That's really the end goal of this. I know I can end up doing it. Might take some time. And when I get to a point that I'm comfortable with, I'll make an exclusive, more so private group that I'll have. Steven will probably be in it just for the hell of it. I might include a couple other people and you all can play around with it. If it takes off in the direction I want, I'll include others. This is not something I'm doing for paid. So it has to be people I'm close to. And it's only once I feel comfortable with. I have to know that I wouldn't say foolproof, but it gives people the edge and it gives them the information that they need. So keep you guys posted on all of it, but it's something I'm super excited for. One of the main topics I put on Twitter that I've been focusing on this, haven't been doing as much crypto trading because I want to get this bot out the way and just push it out there for everybody. And then we'll be able to take on other things. So dashboards in this bot have been the main ones that I'm doing. I'll talk to you about the season ticket stuff in a little bit. But yeah, so I'm excited for you all to join this journey this week. I'll let you know what I've done next week and the week after that, like what the progress really has been with all of this. So diving into college sports, we're going to start on the college basketball side of the house. We'll do men's and women's, and then we'll go over to college football and we'll go over into the NFL and everything like that. So in terms of college basketball freshman brand deals, the top ones that we have out there are Cam Boozer from Duke is with Jordan. Caleb Wilson from North Carolina is with New Balance. Nate Ament from Tennessee is with Reebok, which is the person to pay attention to. Later down the line, maybe the draft, I'll let you know the story I have about that. Darren Peterson from Kansas, he's with Adidas. AJ Debanza from BYU is with Nike. Darius Acuff from Arkansas is with Reebok, which shout out to John Calipari. If I can find this one tweet, it shows you all the amounts of money that he's gotten all his players. But that's something that we will end up talking about. But at Arkansas, so Reebok has 2, and then Mikel Brown from Louisville is with Adidas. So Adidas has Peterson and Brown, which good for them, what they're doing. You can do this now because of NIL. But again, I brought it up time and time again. We really need to understand what the cap is for this. Some, even college football, they're having like $40 million caps. Where's this money going? How's the money all being spent? And that's what we really need to end up figuring out going forward with everything. So It's a lot right now. It's basically like the wild, wild west. We'll figure it out somehow, some way, but stay tuned for the journey. But that's something that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to. On the women's side of the house, a couple of things that I want to bring up. Let's see if I can do both these at the same time. I can. So, women's college basketball, I'm talking about this because of the game I went to yesterday. And then I've gone to probably a women's college basketball game in the past 3 years. At Maryland's not too far away from me, so I try to get up to their men's and women's games as much as I can. I went when Caitlin Clark was in town for Iowa. I went when Juju Watkins was here. And now the next one has been just this year, just seeing the University of Maryland. So looking at the top 14, we'll do top 15 for the women's college basketball. And then I'll slide over to the men's as well. But 1 through 15, UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, Vandy, LSU, Oklahoma, Michigan, Iowa, Louisville, TCU, Duke, Ohio State, Maryland, and Michigan State. Maryland is 22-6. And the game they had yesterday is something that I genuinely appreciated. I thought she was going to go off for 30, but they only let her get 25, and she did this in 28 minutes. And that's Alochi Okinawa. She was 11 for 20 from the field, which good for her. That really is one of those things of she easy, just driving every single time. She didn't even have to shoot from the outside. She was 0 for 3 from 3-point. She just drove the whole game. And kudos to her on that side. I have to give it up. They won 79-57. Grace Sullivan was the only one on the other team that had any substantial points. She had 23 on that side. The next topic I do want to talk about is going into the men's side of the house. And this is the famous game that you all know about. And this is UConn versus St. John's. My mom's alma mater in St. John's, so I like to bring St. John's up when I can. Ricky P's over there as well. But UConn missed so many goddamn shots. I don't even want to go into it. They missed like their last 20 to 24 field goals of the game. They finished 11 of 56. They were 20% from the field goal, 25% from three-point range, and 76% from the free throw line. You're not winning any games that way. You can just cross out. They both shot a shit ton of threes. The UConn was 7 for 25. St. John's was 5 for 20. Not any better. But when you look at the field goals shooting, UConn was 28 of 59, 47%, and then St. John's was 11 of 56 for 20%. You're not going anywhere with that. They only made 11 field goals, whereas Terrace Reed and Alex Karabin were both 9 of 14 and then 6 of 13. Just them two alone had more field goals than the other team. You want to take him out? Cool. Let's just do solo ball and Terrace Reed. They're 9 of 14, 4 of 7. That's 13 of 21. You already had more field goals than the other team and a better field goal percentage on that side. So score was 72-40. I don't really know what else you want me to tell you. That's you're not winning any games when you end up shooting that bad from the field. Top 10 in the AP 25. You can do either one, AP 25 or AP coaches poll. I'll just do the AP 25 at this rate. None of this matters until you get to the NCAA tournament. But 1 through 10, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, Houston, UConn, Florida, Purdue, Gonzaga, Illinois. And the only difference in the two top 10s is in the coaches poll, you do have Illinois at 11 and Nebraska at 10. Gonzaga is 27-2. The two other teams that only have 2 losses are going to be Duke and Arizona. I don't know if the other team, the other team is in the coaches poll, they're ranked. So Miami of Ohio is 27-0. They're going to make the tournament at the rate they're going. I need to see how far they're going to end up going in the tournament. Tennessee is 20-7. North Carolina is 21-6. BYU is 20-7. Arkansas is 20-7. So you look at this, just breaking it down, 4-12. So the top 3 seeds right now would be Duke to Nebraska. If you look at top 4 seeds, you're looking at Texas Tech, and then top 5, you're looking at some strong 5 seeds. You'll have like Alabama, North Carolina, BYU, Arkansas, and a 6 seed is going to be Tennessee. So it's going to be tough. People have asked me, who do I think is going to be some of the top players? I wish I could tell you. I have no answers for any of it because, truth be told, I don't know. Like, it's bundled up joy, but this is what you love. There's no far out best team this year in it. There's a bunch of really good teams, but no team that is far and wide the best. We'll give a shout out to Carson Cooper at Michigan State because a friend of mine is related to Carson Cooper. So you love to see various different teams doing well on that side of the house. So enough talk over there. Let's dive into the college football side of it and scouting combines this week. First thing I want to bring up is fastest recorded times. I brought this up before. 2024 was Xavier Worthy. He ran a time of 4.21, and John Ross 4.22 in 2017. John Ross was that one where you said, shit, this could be something. Xavier Worthy's was fast and he's good. John Ross didn't necessarily pan out to what they expected with that speed out of Washington. Kalen Barnes was 4.23. If I'm going to say the best person in this top 5 list, the next person's the best since 1999, and that's Chris Johnson. He ran a 4.24, and you saw what he ended up doing in the NFL. He was CJ2K for a reason. Next one we did have is Rondell Mendez, and that was in 1999, 4.24. So do I think the 4.21 is going to be broken this year? Absolutely not. 4.21 sticking probably for a couple of years. That's hella fast. You might tie it, but 4.21, they didn't have anything close in 2025 or before that was 2024. There was nothing 2023. Then it was Kalen Barnes. We'll end up seeing what happens, but you love to see it. Even they showed DJ Turner in 2023 was 4.26. So that's really the only thing that's close. You had Henry Ruggs was a 4.27. Marquise Goodwin 4.27. Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky 4.28. Nate Wiggins 4.28. Those are fast, but 4.21 is quick. You can't really do anything about that. Next one that we're going to end up diving into and talking about is going to be the top prospects at the Scouting Combine. This is brought to you by Fox. 1 and 2 are going to be Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, both on defense, safety, outside linebacker, and then Jeremiah Love. That's the one a lot of people have been bringing up. Where's Jeremiah Love going to go? Some say that he's better than Ashton Jeanty, but you can't compare the two. Jeremiah Love did play better competition, arguably. Some may say he would, some may say he won't. I'm not going to debate it. I'm just going to say Jeremiah Love was nice, and he went to Notre Dame, so the competition that they played might have been a little better than what Ashton Jeanty played at Boise State, but the amount of yards that he had, you can't deny that. Next one is going to be Fernando Mendoza, who's Heisman Trophy winner. 5 is going to be David Bailey. 6 is going to be Francis Magua, and then after that you have Ruben Bain, and then you have 8 and 9 is Sonny Styles, and then Carnell Tate. Rounding it out is Mansour Delane from LSU. So you have 4. This list is filled with Big Ten. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half of the list is Big Ten players. And then you have 3 players that played in the national championship game too. So credit all around to what the Big Ten has continued to do. You only have one SEC player on this list. You have 2 Big 12 players, and then you have ACC players. So mad props to them. Good for them. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I do want to see what ends up happening this year in the Combine. Probably won't watch every single day, but I'll keep you all posted next week. Steve and I will talk about it because that's going to be the big topic of conversation. And I ran through, check the other video. You'll end up seeing the different topics that which days each of the players are going to be coming for the Combine. So that's that side of the house. The next thing I want to bring up is the NFL free agency, and then I also want to bring up the NFL earnings, and then we'll go into the NBA earnings, and then this thing that has come about from Laurie Markkinen, and then also Phil Jackson. So the NFL side of the house, first thing is all-time quarterback career earnings. Let's start with number 1, because you've got to hear this list, and you'll see the elephant in the room with this list. So number 1, Matthew Stafford, $408 million with 1 Super Bowl ring. Aaron Rodgers, $395 million with 1 Super Bowl ring. Tom Brady, $333 million with 7 Super Bowl rings. He did take pay cuts for anyone that did not pay attention to whenever they had salary negotiations with Tom Brady. He did take pay cuts, but he absolutely probably made it back in terms of sponsors and endorsements on that side. Kirk Cousins, $322 million, 0 Super Bowl rings, 0 conference championship games. Russell Wilson, $317 million with 1 Super Bowl ring. Why is Kirk Cousins on this list? Because he finessed the shit out of the system. He had franchise tags for 3 to 4 years when he was with the Commanders or the Redskins. And then he got a nice deal with the Minnesota Vikings, got another deal with them, and then they sent him to the Atlanta Falcons. And we see where this has landed him right now. I personally would not have paid Captain Kirk that much money, but I'm never going to be mad at any for getting a bag. You get your money because you only live for but so long and can play this game for but so long. So congratulations to you on that side, Captain Kirk. Then the other part I want to bring up is highest career earnings among non-quarterbacks. And the list, it's interesting. It's a good list. I would say Khalil Mack is number one at $218 million, should be a Hall of Famer. Trent Williams, $218 million, should be a Hall of Famer. Von Miller, $199.6 million, get your bag, should be a Hall of Famer. Ndamukong Suh, $186.5 million. We'll see how that ends up going. Larry Fitzgerald, $180.8 million. Dog, they're set. Hall of Famer. Julius Peppers, $165 million. Same thing. Lane Johnson, well deserved. Every single dollar of it. $163.4 million. Leonard Williams, $159.9 million. Aaron Donald, who will be a Hall of Famer, $158.1 million. And Stephon Diggs, $157.2 million. And you got to support all them goddamn kids, which is why you can live that life. And us regular people could never do this stuff. Well, you could, but you just ain't going to be in the same situation as him. $157 million, you're fine. I promise. He'll be good. And that's where the whole explanation of guaranteed versus non-guaranteed money usually comes into play. So that's the NFL side of it. The other part with the NFL I wanted to talk about is Steve Bisciotti. So Steve Bisciotti really wants them to get an extension done for Lamar Jackson. It's crazy. The last time this extension talk was happening, it was so big because he didn't have an agent and stuff. Now Steve is like, let's get this shit done. He also would carry a 74.5 cap number this year. So if they can get that taken care of before free agency, it frees up money, whether they put it in some sort of, I don't know, roster bonus, signing bonus for the contract. They'll finagle the money or push the money down the line. And then down the line, they'll renegotiate it, which is what they're doing with Patrick Mahomes, to free up now money for you to just take the cap hit later. So you're kicking the can down the road. They're still going to get their money, but it depends on how you end up getting your money. And so just looking at the list of players for, what is it? I guess, yeah, this is right here. DeAndre Hopkins would only have a $5 million hit if they end up voiding that. But there's nobody of Tyler Lindenbaum is the only one that seems to, however they work that out, would have the highest hit. So they don't have too many with big hits. Kyle Van Noy is there, but nothing too extreme that they need to end up working on. Yes, they have players that they need to figure out the situations, but nothing too much on that side. Now going into the NFL side, I mean the NBA side of the house, the NBA career earnings, and then we'll dive into this Phil Jackson topic that I've been hearing about. So the first thing that I want to, let's see, who the heck is this? Oh, NBA career earnings. So Anthony Davis, $393.3 million. John Wall, $332 million. Get your money from the Wizards. Karl Anthony Towns, $285.2 million. Devin Booker, $268.9 million. Julius Randle, $233.8 million. I'm really surprised at this. Oh, these are only, and I talked about this earlier, these are all players that played for Coach Calipari. Julius Randle, $233.8 million. De'Aaron Fox, $229.1 million. Jamal Murray, $218 million. Bam Adebayo, $177 million. Derrick Rose, $171 million. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's going to get a lot more money than this. He's at $155.5 million. Anthony Davis has made damn near $400 million. I don't know. That's good. That's great. That's really impressive. But yeah, he's solid at that point. The other part that I do want to bring up is this 40 and 20 rule. In order for teams to prove they're legitimate title contenders, they have to win 40 games before they lose 20 games. So the three teams that fit that build right now are the Spurs, the Pistons, and the Thunder. Okay. So with that being said, could you really see the Spurs being a championship team this year? They could. They honestly could, or it could be next year, but they've built that whole program from the ground up. The Pistons, I don't think that they'll make it this year. You have the Celtics if they get Tatum back. You do have the Knicks potentially as well, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers. So those teams have the experience, have the vets. They'll probably wait until the playoffs to turn it into high gear. You don't really need a 1 seed right now to end up proving it. We've seen this on both sides. OKC is the exception. But there have been teams that they brought up the Heat being an 8 seed 1 year. So you don't necessarily need that number 1 seed to prove, all right, let's be a title contender. pace yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time. The young teams can take the 1 and 2. You saw Memphis. Memphis didn't do shit when they had the number 1 seed. So if they just pace themselves, and then they will be fine on that side of it. Last 2 things I want to bring up, and I'll make this quick for you guys. The first one is the Marvel comic universe. So, Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm on that side. Iron Man, $2.42 billion between their 3 movies. The Thor trilogy is $2.71 billion. And then Captain America trilogy is $2.23 billion. Next part of that I do want to bring up is Robert Downey Jr. First movie, he was making $500,000. Iron Man 2, $10 million. And then now Avengers Endgame, he made $75 million. Total estimated of $410 to $450 million he's made for the whole series. Good for you, RDJ. That's the main thing I wanted to bring up on that side. And the final part I want to talk about is Traitors. I watch Traitors. You basically have Eric, Rob, Mara, Tara, Johnny as the main last ones. I have 2 thoughts behind this. Either Rob's going to win, and he's going to win flat out, and no one's ever going to guess. Or the people that I have not seen with a lot of brain cells are finally going to get it together, and then they're going to band together. Johnny and Tara finally going to stand up and say their true thoughts, and we will see Rob get kicked off. But I don't think Eric is going to win on his own. Those are my only 2 thoughts. It's either going to be Rob winning and taking Eric with him, or Rob cutting Eric and just still going to take him, throw him under the bus. Or they finally get together and then the Faithfuls win. Nothing else happens. I will say another Faithful or 2 are going to get kicked off. Like, I think Mark might end up getting kicked off, finding some way to end up losing. But comes on tonight. Next week, I'll probably keep you all posted if Steven lets me talk about it. He might just not even care about Traitors, and then we'll say that for another episode. But until next time, appreciate it. We out.